those hallmarks of, and we are using the word Gen Z and Gen Alpha interchangeably, but some of their characteristics and not character traits, some of their characters and behaviors are not similar. There's some that are very stark different, but when we use this language, they're just meant to help you in class, so that one, you reduce the yellow and white hairs. Number two, you'll be able to deliver better. Teacher, mwalimu, it is them. It's not you. It is them.
Gentlemen, welcome to another episode. This is a very different one. We're talking about something that's a bit upbeat. We're talking about the classroom, and Miss is here today. What's your name, Miss? They don't know. They know you. They know you, but just remind them. They know you.
I'm Agnes Ngala, here with Insensitivity.
Yeah, for another episode. And today we are talking about teaching the Gen Alphas and the Gen Zs in the classroom, the youngest of Gen Zs in the classroom. So as a teacher, are you aware of the differences in the generations? Are you aware that the differences require different teaching approaches? Are you aware that those different approaches are nothing to what the Gen Xs and the Millennials went through? And are you strategizing on how your approaches are going to be so that you don't miss out on any student? If those are your questions, then this is the podcast.
Set ready.
You're ready. We're born ready. So let's start with the Gen Alphas, Miss. We will remember the age group.
Yes.
It's from which year to which year?
If you're born from 2013 onwards.
2013 onwards.
Yes.
Those
2013.
Most of them are in
they should be in grade 7.
Grade 7.
Grade 7.
A
They're
few.
about
The oldest
Gen Alpha
are in grade 7.
Yes.
The youngest are around
6-year-olds. They're about 6 years. They've just started.
This is school.
Grade 1, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Gen Z.
It's a whole generation actually. Yes.
And Gen Zs, the youngest of Gen Zs are now.
They are grade 8.
From 2012, right?
Yes, grade
Backwards.
8, grade
so
8 or 9.
Let's say, so most of them are in grade 8, grade 9.
Yeah, all the way
of
to
course,
1996.
That means most of the people in high school are Gen Zs. And so they resonate with most of the people at the workplace.
That's right.
Yeah, but just there's a difference in how. And then now there are Gen Zs who are teaching Gen Zs.
Imagine.
I know.
That's true.
And then now we have Gen Alphas who are being taught by Gen Zs. How lucky they are. And then we have Gen Alphas who are taught by Millennials.
And
then we have Gen Alphas who are taught by Gen Xs. Oh my goodness, the endurance.
Endurance is the word. Endurance. A Gen X teaching a Gen Alpha.
That is imagining that Gen Alpha is the normal Gen Alpha. But now the Gen X has done his homework. If the Gen X had done homework, the classes are good.
Good.
Yeah. So you need to ask your teachers, have they done homework? If they have, then your classes are going to be fun. If not, then your classes are going to be nah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It will actually mean for you, for the students.
Yes.
But you, the Gen X and the Millennial in a Gen Alpha class, it's going to be an uphill task. And I think you've already felt it because I don't know if I'm already preempting what you're talking about, but I'm thinking getting into a Gen Alpha class, you have planned for a good 40 minutes or 1 hour lesson, but the attention span is 10 minutes. So you're wondering, why is this class so unruly? They can't settle beyond 10 minutes. Hello, good morning.
Welcome to Gen Alphas. We are different.
Welcome to Gen Alpha. And even some of the Gen Zs, and they're wondering, why are you on a monologue over and over and over again? It's not you.
How do Gen Zs survive the meetings?
Have you seen Gen Zs on phones in meetings? And we are not stereotyping. We're just saying, when you are aware of the generation you're working with, you will be more forgiving. And you will be more tolerant.
And you'll extend grace.
You'll extend grace.
Yeah.
Because
you so need to extend grace to that Gen X that's trying to print and it won't just work. It just won't work. He's wondering, why is it not printing back to back and I've just given instructions? Why is it not sorting? No idea. Why is the printer not it is off. Switch it on.
So you see, in essence, no, really, in essence, the some of these generation gaps is brought about by the advent of digital literacy. Because we are now in the information age
Era,
and what our Gen X's and the millennials were able to do are something, if you were born in 19, already you're considered ancient. So they're wondering, did you even know, were there computers? Well, there were, we just didn't afford them as much that as
not
you
like
now
now.
afford. So when you're aware of the generations, you'll extend grace, just as we have said. But then now, what are those hallmarks of, and we are using the word Gen Z and Gen Alpha interchangeably, but some of their characteristics and not character traits, some of their characters and behaviors are not similar. There's some that are very stark different, but when we use this language, they're just meant to help you in class, so that one, you reduce the yellow and white hairs. Number two, you'll be able to deliver better. Teacher, mwalimu, it is them. It's not you. It is them. So can we shift our learning to embrace our Gen Zs and Gen Alphas? The number one thing we've said, attention span. Whatever it is you need, if you don't capture them the first 10 minutes, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. You need a new day. So if your lessons are 1 hour or 40 minutes, some schools have 35 minutes, the first 10 minutes is the hook.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Can we continue now? You see now, the first thing I know about these children, there are very few of them are oopsies. Most of them, the parents sat down and decided, I want a child. And I want a child when I'm 39. And I want the child to be a boy. So they picked even the gender. They picked everything. And they prepared psychologically. They saved for the baby. So when the baby is making noise in class, don't shout at the baby, because this baby is golden. This baby has come from heaven.
Where did the others come from?
Miss Shirley, let's not begin with that.
Okay, sorry.
The second one, even if that's not the case, there's the other bit where they have been preparing psychologically to raise the baby with the awareness of the right way. We are very tech-savvy parents, right? So they're aware that if they're Googling everything on how to raise the baby. So they're very deliberate with everything they're doing with their child, most of the parents. Therefore, if you do something, the parent is likely to counter it, because they've also done their research and found out, this is because of this. They're very informed parents. Because it's a digital era. So the parents are, The third thing is that these parents are not raising their children in a village. You remember the village where you could meet your neighbor, your mom's friend, a neighbor, and she's like, where are you going?
Who are you with?
Who are you with? Go back home. Nowadays, it is you and your child. If you meet my child on the corridors, in the balcony, and I'm not there, you have no reason to tell me where my child is, because it is literally my responsibility, unless I've given you express permission to handle my child like that. Therefore, even the nanny, their hands are tied, because why are you shouting at my boy? Why are you mistreating my son? Why are you mistreating my daughter?
They need to regulate.
No, exactly. So having that in mind from the parent side. And then most of the parents are actually, even if they don't have the financial muscle to do it, I have seen children who the mom just sells mboga, okay? And you might find it's a very small thingy, but they're taking their child to a private school, because they understand that this one, education is key. I have to take them to the best of school. Even if I didn't go, you see they've given the child everything they can.
They're changing the narrative.
They're changing the narrative. So if you're a parent and you also realize that most of the reasons why it's like that, it's because most of the parents are millennials. And millennials went through a lot of problems growing up. And so they are very intentional parents now that they are parents. They don't want to do the things because, this is my house, you'll do as I say. Millennials are very, hey, I know you, it's my way or the highway. If it's too hot, get out of the kitchen.
Imagine.
So because we understand that, we now are able to handle these children, knowing that this is the kind of background they're coming from. And you'll find not very many of them have many siblings. You'll find two or three. If you're lucky, you have 5. By the way, if you have more than 3 siblings, please count yourself the luckiest in the world. Because nowadays, even an only child is good enough. Okay. In fact, there are also people who are going childless. They're like, I'm not going to go in that direction. So having that in mind, if you can have one child and give them everything as a parent, how would you feel if you realize that this teacher who you're paying school fees for is not doing the bare minimum for your child? That's where the problem begins. Okay. And then now the teacher is coming in. Remember, we talked about mental health of the teacher. The teacher, if the teacher is a Gen Z, then they are very social aware. They know that this is how things work. Remember, you talked about the uprising. So they want to challenge justice as much as possible because things have to go the right way.
And it is the Gen Zs who also challenge justice. They ask you, why did you punish me? But you're not punishing whoever.
This one, yes.
Millennials,
so if you are unfair, they will ask.
They will call you out.
Millennials will be like,
they'll feel it, but be quiet.
You go and punch the air in your bedroom, then you come out. Hi, Mom, because that's how...
By the way, they speak about social injustice. Why did you tell me this and you didn't tell the other?
Yeah, and she did the same thing.
Why did... In fact, sometimes it's not even when it's not pointing to them alone. They'll decide to raise a whole hell over another child who was not handled well. So yes, they are very social justice aware.
That's very good. So now they're in the classroom.
Yes.
Oh, now let's add on to that. They have grown up in the era of laptops, tablets, mobile phones, smart TVs. Therefore, things are instant.
Yes.
It's not like DSTV when it rains, it goes missing. Okay, no offense to any brands mentioned.
Go on.
But now we are looking at an era where you just switch on, there's Wi-Fi, then YouTube is there.
The microwave is instantly
we don't have to watch TV if we don't want to. If I just want to watch the specific thing, that's what I just put that, I forward it to that bit, I watch it, and I'm done with TV until next year. You see? So and then Cocomelon is, as you said, to pastime. So now let's come and dive into this student has landed your class.
Ooh.
And they've come with those fancy bags that the parents have bought for them.
That are drugged.
They've carried their healthy snacks and everything. Now that's for a typical middle class and high class kind of family. As a teacher, and at one episode we will I think kind of target the working class, maybe miss one of these days, so that we also know how do you help these children who have come needy. That's another episode for another day. How do you step up and integrate and support them? If they're hungry, you don't just go ahead and teach. You just find a way. How do you fundraise or do whatever you have to do so that they remain in school? But that's a story for another day. We are talking about a child who has been loved at home, pampered, treated well. Now they've landed in class. The dad will come to pick them home time with a different car than the one that dropped in the morning. And now they're in your class. They were on YouTube the whole night or whichever it's until let's say until 11. So they've slept, yes, but not really slept.
Not sufficiently.
Not enough. They've landed in your class. What are things you should not do or do? Miss, we can start from your experience as a teacher, your experience as a parent, your experience as millennial.
That's personal. But all right. This child has landed in your class.
Yes.
They are either Gen Z or Alpha. Number one, whether they slept long enough or not. Remember, they have a full day of school. You have a whole syllabus to cover. What are you supposed to do with this student? And yet, they're supposed to make progress because no child is left behind, right?
Yeah.
So my take is this. Like I said, the first 10 minutes is golden. Remember, this child is their parents' apple of the eye.
Yes.
They breathe, eat, sleep this child. I doubt if they care whether they get A's or not. They would want to, but they
not
now...
a top priority.
And the focus is not a top priority. And the focus is a wholesome learner.
Yeah.
A wholesome student who is mentally stable, whose emotional intelligence might even be higher than their IQ. So you as a teacher, first of all, acknowledge that you're dealing with somebody's precious egg.
Gem, yeah.
As precious jewel. Someone's. And it's not one. It's 20, 30, 40 in your class. Please be empathetic. Yes, your school requires you to fill syllabus, but this child, as a teacher, you must be intentional about social
So
emotional learning.
Mhm.
So you see, we've discussed this in the past, that there's no one size fits all
Kind
for
of approach,
all teachers, for all students, I mean, because they are all different.
Yeah.
Think about their emotional stability. Think about their social status. Think even just their social state. There is the growth spurts they're going through.
I know, yeah.
There is, you see, because of their attention span, their parents have given them cocomelon when they were younger so that they finish eating. So even
they go like this, they take a bite.
Yeah, they take a bite and they are entertained. It's not like you and I who are to sit down either on a mat or on a dining table to finish a meal, then they switch on the TV. It's vice versa.
Yeah.
So the attention span genuinely is really short. And so your hook in class is your first 10 minutes. And then the rest, as a teacher, please make it interactive. These learners are going
before
to
we continue,
Yeah.
so this hook, you can start with a relatable joke, right?
Can be a joke.
Yeah,
That is if
depending
they
on your
get the joke.
personality. So that's why I said relatable joke. You know,
Yes.
don't bring actual. You know, when I was a child, when I was a student,
They despise that.
they don't like. In fact, it looks like you're going to lecture them about.
Yes, they despise that.
So find a joke that they can relate to.
Yes, find a joke. You can make it a poem. You can do a skit. Pick out a silly thing that like there's one I don't like, but you can use it as a learning platform. I don't like it. But 6, 7, I don't like that thing. Or something that they hear over and over again. So it can be a joke or a rhyme. The hook is, what are we learning today? So for instance, the art teacher that I am would ask, like, if the sky was pink, what color would the sun be? Then it makes them think, yellow. No, but the sky is already pink. What would it be? Or if the sky was green. So I've automatically picked their attention. Like, but miss, the sky is not green. Why would it be green? Like, you know, we are learning 1, 2, 3. So you see, I've automatically caught their attention.
Yeah.
So there's that. Or there's another, you can start by asking relatable questions. Not last week or last lesson we learned da 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 da. You can start from that, but how about you start by questions? There's an exciting thing I learned from a peer colleague who we are in a PLC with the professional learning community, that as you tell them objective of that day, ask them, because you know the topic, what do you want to learn from it today? So individually. So you say, Miss, because you're learning about math, can I know how not to answer X? Today, can we use Y instead? It's still algebra, but they're going to, because you accepted that they use Y today, tomorrow we'll use X, then they will be feeling like they've owned the process. So it might seem silly, but they wanted to be part of the lesson. So those small things that we work with the children, when they feel you really value my input, is going to help you have a better time in class. I think so.
Okay. I think that's so we're looking at we've talked about a simple joke that's relatable, or a statement that they can relate with, or relate the objective to, ask them to how to dissect the objective to what they really like. You can even use an analogy or an anecdote.
Yes.
Or you can use, for example, we were learning about pronunciation, silent letters. There was a whole video, very nice video, that was talking about how English is very funny. It has silent letters, like the L is hiding in sound. And like, why is it hiding? So you once they've watched the video, they ask, so how many of us don't like the limelight? Okay. So if you don't like the limelight, you go this side. If you like the limelight, you go that side. So the ones who don't like will be silent letters. So for everyone, you say any silent letter. For those who like to be visible, you go this side. So you're going to say a word that doesn't have any silent letter. So you see, it begins a very it's sample,
exciting.
but it's very exciting, because now they're going to ask themselves, okay, I was a silent letter today because I don't like being up, up and about. I don't like being in the spotlight. I was not a silent letter because that's my personality. So you see, moving forward, even if you are not, you can remember what your friend said and relate with it. That's basically within maybe 5 or 10 minutes you'll be done with that, and then now you can move to another task. So picking something that they can actually relate to is the key. Whether it's a joke, whether it's an anecdote, it doesn't matter. Analogy, it doesn't matter. Make sure it's related.
As long as you hook them.
You hook them,
They are hooked the first 10 minutes. My Lord, the first 10 minutes is so important. And then now from that first 10 minutes, bring in activity.
But that means, you see, most of the time, for the first 10 minutes, That's when I want to confirm the homework. That's when I want to do the terror strike of those who didn't do my homework.
But didn't
Can
we
you
talk
run?
about...
Can you stand up and remain standing until I tell you to
Do you
sit
know
down?
by the time you're done doing all that, they're gone? You're on your own. And then after all that, you want to lecture them. You're on your
then
own.
you lecture them. You remind them. We are in school to learn. Some of us are here.
You will fail. No, you will be on your own, Winnie, for real. You want to do the terror strike at this time, and then you look at homework. Then you check, excuse me, you're actually making your work a lot harder. So it calls for better planning, because remember, it's Gen Zs. We've talked about a shorter span, and I didn't say that your lesson should be 10 minutes. It's a hook for 10 minutes.
The hook for 10
Do
minutes.
not waste the hook.
Yeah. Don't use it for other things that can come later in the lesson. And I think also this also points out, as a teacher, figure out a way of monitoring those who don't do homework, so you don't have to name and shame, right?
Yeah, that's
the naming and shaming also never works for this generation.
No, they don't respond to those authority threats.
Yeah.
They don't even wondering, why are you shouting? Have you been asked that? Why are you shouting? I'm like, I'm right in the middle of a terrorist threat, and then you're asking me why I'm
shouting.
You will hit the roof.
And then now that you are talking about it, you remember you said that this generation, I think maybe you can just say it about the attention span and instructions. Please explain it so that I can go ahead and give an example. Explain about the this generation and giving instructions. How should you give instructions?
Now, because the attention span is predominantly short, based on, by the way, it's not your children, there's nothing wrong with your children. It's just them. When you give instructions, you cannot give too many instructions
at the same
once.
time.
Like, come in, sit down, get out your book, open, write the date and the title, and you cannot do all those things at once.
The same time.
Although, depending on the age as well, like high schoolers, but can you, with the younger ones, break down the instructions, and they need to be very explicit that please take a seat.
Everyone is seated.
Everyone's seated.
Okay, and then take out your book.
Do the next instruction. So we are taking, for example, literature books, or we are reading, or we are doing math, whatever it is. So if you're doing math, get out your math books, and today we're using a set. So
get out your
math
set.
And set. So math is okay. So as you're doing that, you can even do a math joke, and then as they're laughing, you've already captured them. Then write the date, the title. If you're the kind who draw the lines in the middle, I've never known the work of those lines in the middle of the math book, but I will not. I will not. I do not know why those lines are there, but you know
why.
I don't know. So see, there's somebody who decided that they want to reduce the amount of pages that are used. So I don't know why those lines are there, but having gone, it wastes time. If you ask me, sorry. So you've given that instruction. Then, as you've already hooked them, then you start your lesson. So you see, allow me to just go finish this train of thought. As you've already given them those instructions and you've hooked them, get into an activity that makes them do. So it's not you on the board. It's not you doing all the talking. If anything, if your lesson is 1 hour, you talk for 10 minutes. For the remaining 50 minutes, the children will participate. So your lesson should not be quiet. Your lesson should actually have them working amongst each other, peer discussion, collaboration, because that's when they start to solve problems. Turn your classes into actual work, not meetings. Surely they are not meetings, they are not adults. Yeah. No, seriously. So that's how we hook them. And another thing with the Gen Alphas, they're very pictorial. And that's why you remember we were talking about them watching YouTube shorts instead of a whole
movie,
a whole video,
or a documentary,
YouTube or documentary, unless they're really into that subject. Even taking them for movies, I wonder what Hollywood will do.
Maybe you can also tell us as a parent, do you take your Gen Alphas and youngest Gen Zs to the movies? If you do, how do they behave? Do they sit through the movie?
Yeah.
If you do at home with this movie night, if you do a movie night in the house, how does it happen? Do you sit through the movie? Just tell us so that we also can know if it's something that is literally across or
maybe we are just biased. Or maybe we would like to hear your perspective. Yeah, maybe we are biased. But from our experience,
Miss, now, before we continue, now that you've said, do you know what is the most annoying thing about a teacher? Being the experience of a teacher. You come to class, you say, get out your French book, write the date.
Miss, what did you tell us to do?
Miss, what are you doing? Miss, what are you doing? And then now another one lifts up their hand. Miss, mine is different. What are we doing? Miss, what are we supposed to do?
It's the same thing.
And then there is another who's going to tell me, I've written the date. What are we doing next? Now that one is literally waiting for the next instruction. They feel like these instructions you've given are too basic.
They're too basic. I'm ready to move on.
Let's move to the next thing. So having that in mind, you know that already you have a diverse group of students. And so you need to be very categorical and intentional in how you're going to handle these different personalities and at the same time, these different abilities, sort of. And then there is that one who's going to, they know what they're supposed to do, but they're not going to do nothing. They're not going to do anything.
They will sit and
They
wait.
know they have had, but they just want to test.
Chill.
I know. They just don't want to write. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to get out the books. Where's the book? It's in my tab. Okay. Have you gotten it? No. Let me get it. And they sit. They drag for another 1 hour. But remember, to the parents, golden
child. But we know because of that, it has to inform how we are approaching these children.
Yeah.
They are somebody's entire world.
I know, yeah. In fact, that is actually what the whole conversation is revolving around.
Yes.
So no matter how many buttons they're going to press and try to make you feel whichever type of way, you remember that this child means a lot to someone.
The whole world.
And the least I can do is make them mean something to me. Enough for me to check on them, to see what they're doing, to figure out how I can support, and to avoid using a blanket instruction so that if they're not okay with it, I can comfortably custom make the instructions for them.
Right. And even as we are continuing to open our minds, I'm just wondering, parents, teachers out there, your Gen Alpha, what is working? What is not working? We've not even talked about the brain rot. We've not talked, we're not going there. We are not going there. But you see, these are things that, because we are millennials, when we are older Gen Zs, you're wondering, what in God's green earth are you talking about? They don't even know. The brain rot, does that sound something nice? But we're already judging it, but they're having a nice time with it and laughing. And so, parents, what is your Gen Z or Gen Alpha talking about that you're questioning? We are, by the way, we are teachers and we're still questioning some of the things they bring to us, and they expect us to know. So the advantage we have is that we get to ask them and they teach us. So have you asked your child? Have
they taught you anything new? And the latest apps will come from them.
They will. They're actually already creating.
Come from them,
And we've not even started talking about gaming.
I know.
We need to talk about gaming. However, I'm saying this very cautiously. These children are in Roblox, then Minecraft, then Fortnite, the GTA, don't ask how many I know. They're already in that space. But did you know that teachers can take advantage of this and use gamification in learning?
Okay.
We will need to talk about this a bit more.
That's a very nice way to look at it. If I can't, if the mountain come to the mountain, if you can't go to the mountain will come. If the mountain can't come, you go to the mountain.
Whichever. But because they're already in that space and that
might
captures.
As well.
By the way, they might not sit through for a 2-hour movie, but they can take 12 hours in a game.
In a game, yeah. So that means they're only interested in things that
they're doing. They're
fascinate
part of
them
it.
and they're part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're also able to sit down for the same 10 hours to watch somebody else playing a game. That they can, which makes zero sense to you. So then, can we bring ourselves down to understand, okay, how can we capitalize on this? It is quite fascinating. In fact, when you ask children, what do you want to do when you grow up? What's the quickest answer? Gamer or a YouTuber
or
a streamer.
Like I Show Speed.
You know.
I Show Speed brought Kenya to a standstill.
I tell you.
Do you know what happened? It is the parents who are taking their children. They were told you have to. We are going.
I Show Speed, I hope you follow us too, because see, we're talking about you. So now, Winnie, wrap us up.
So now, the last thing, which is, I think is even more important. We know that the child attention is going to be up and about everywhere. We also know that they might not necessarily respond to fear and threats. We also know that they are loved and taken care of at home. And that might vary depending on the homestead, but intentionally, there is that. So as a teacher, when you're coming into that space, what I would advise, the first and most important, we know we regulate our emotions. Regulate your emotions so that we're not spurring negativity, right?
Yeah.
Number 2, because they're going to test everything. They're going to test every button. And it's not their wish. It is just as it is. Number 2, make your lessons interesting. We said about don't make it a workplace experience, not a meeting.
It's not a job. It's not a meeting.
And then number 3, do parental involvement. In fact, one of the things I learned kind of the hard way is that these kids, the only thing they fear sometimes is their parent. When you tell them, I'm going to call your mom, there's a bit of, okay.
They pause.
Okay. And sometimes when mom is coming to school, means why is my mom coming to school? Is everything okay? They feel like, or my dad, they feel like there's something I've done wrong, and so they're coming to correct. So the only button that is likely to reset everything is the parent button for most students. And then there's another one, which is also, we talked about discipline and how they behave. We find most of them will feel they can't sit through the whole time. And it's because of what they're exposed to. So make sure your activities are short and precise, but also engaging. And then finally, make sure you give, do they do homework? What's their take on homework? Do you see like millennials will sit, I don't know, we'll go home after very, very tedious 3 months of a term. And then you go home and then they give you another tedious 8 pages of English homework. 8 pages to do within 3 weeks. And then there's English homework, there's biology, you literally are going to sit to do that homework half the break. Let's not do that to these children.
I'm concerned about my response to that. If you gave me a chance, I would abolish homework entirely. Entirely. Because we as teachers have misused homeworks for so long. We are using it as a platform to regurgitate what they did the whole day, whether or not they understood it. I'm not a big advocate for homework. I'd rather give me a project, let's work it through for a whole, maybe 2-3 weeks or 1 month. That I will accept. So let's
work with assignment rather than homework.
Yes, but you see, those 2 words are used interchangeably and with the wrong meaning.
Yeah.
So given a chance, I would abolish homework entirely. I've spent the day in school. We are stealing the children's childhood. The children's childhood?
Yeah, childhood.
Yeah. With
and
homework.
Playtime, yeah.
With home, it's unnecessary.
There's a parent who actually came to me with a very genuine concern. They said, I have a schedule for my child when they get home from school. A very deliberate schedule. And it says this and this and this and this. So sometimes when we are supposed to do this family thing together, my child is telling me, I'm finishing homework. But you've been at school the whole time. I've not been with you the whole time. This is the only time I have to bond with you, to get to know how your day was, let's play tennis, so that I know, let's do dishes together. Let's just sit and catch up.
Yeah.
But now they're going to be stuck up in their room for the next 20-45 minutes, even sometimes 2 hours, completing homework. And if the homework is copy the notes,
So do you understand why?
I agree. But also in defense of the teacher, sometimes something like math, something like spelling, if you don't practice, you know what happens? The skill it's like a language.
You can't do it at home. You can't do it in school.
You can practice in school, right?
English is taught every day. Math is taught every day. You can't, you know what?
Okay. Well noted.
We are wrapping up. We've been talking about Gen Zs and Gen Alphas. Lest I shoot myself on the toe.
And remember what we said. We talked about that most of these Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, the parents are millennials who are very intentional parents. They want the best for their child. And so if you work with this parent, the child will be the best because we are speaking the same language.
Remember, even as we're talking about speaking the same, we've been wrapping up several times, but as we're discussing, we're not meaning that we're giving these children a raw deal.
No.
Actually, if we follow through with the new education systems, wherever you are, the landscape of education has generally changed in such a massive way, so that learning is deeper. Learning is more intentional and more meaningful. So the times they spend in school should, and as a teacher you need to know this, should be meaningful, should have the utmost outcome for the child always. So ensure the time you have with the child, 30 minutes, 1 hour, whichever time, it's deep, it's meaningful, it's inferential. They are actually able to carry on. So that critical thinking has taken place. They've collaborated. They've been able to communicate. They're able to create. Do you know the top of the taxonomy?
They're not creative.
They are creators. So when they are creators, whether or not I give them homework or assignment,
that's good. That's already too many boxes you picked from the beginning all the way to creating.
And I rest my case. So Gen Alphas, we love you. Gen Zs, we love you. So we care for you. Teachers, embrace them. Don't fight them. Just be right there or hang in there. We are here to teach you and walk with you.
Keep refreshing.
Keep yes.
Yeah, keep making yourself better. That is the whole point of Insert CPD.
Yes.
You don't remain the same.
Yes.
Every day you go home and ask yourself, what can I do better? If you had an altercation with a student, that should not happen. There's something you're doing wrong. Ask yourself, question, do introspection. When you come tomorrow, you're in the right space and you can say, that was my mistake and I don't want us to go that direction again. You make the relationship. Remember when you talked about stop grading and start connecting? Go to that video and see how to make that connection regardless of how old you are.
Yes.
And that's basically the point of this video.
Yeah.
That we are relating and connecting with students regardless of their age. And this is Insert CPD signing out. We are
impacting lives one teacher at a time.
See you next time. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.